Welcome back to From the Green Room. It's been a while since we had an episode of the Green Room, but without further ado, my guests in the Green Room tonight are Thomas and Richard from the band Fleischkrieg.
Hey,
did I get it right? Hey, I've been like, please don't fuck it up. Please
no, it's good.
How you guys doing, man?
Good.
Great,
Yeah.
great.
It's evening here. Obviously, you guys are on the West Coast in nice, warm, sunny California weather, so it's mid-afternoon, late afternoon there. I miss that. That's the only thing I miss about California, really, is the weather.
It's still, I mean, it's been a little chilly. Like I'm having to put a hoodie on and still wearing pants, and it's windy.
Yeah, chilly. You don't even know chilly until you come to here.
So I grew up and I was born and raised in Cincinnati, Ohio. So
okay.
I am full well.
Oh, you're full. Yep, the Midwest weather. Gotcha.
Yes, which is why I live in California.
Let's talk a little bit about your debut album that came out in 21. It's still gaining momentum. Tell us a little bit about that and its success.
Thomas, do you want to go with that, or?
Yeah, sure. So, like, I guess just a little bit of background. We started work on that album right at the beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah.
We had moved. So I had gotten a job. I worked in tech. Gotten a job and moved to LA right at the start of the pandemic. And Richard and I, we had just played our first show a couple months before that.
Right.
That was pretty good. And the more like we kept going back and forth on the songs and we were writing, I was like, dude, I think there's something to this. And I convinced him to pack his shit up and move to LA as well. And we, had literally nothing to do but write music, write and record. So, we had a extra unit in the house that I was renting at the time, and he was living there and literally just bouncing songs back and forth, and hooked up with a gentleman named D-Punk. His real name's Derek Brown, but he goes by D-Punk. He's in a band called DK0. Really good friends with that guy. We got to know each other pretty well during the pandemic, and asked him to produce the album. So all that album was being worked on while we were not allowed to leave our homes. So, we got it written, recorded, mixed, and mastered. I would say probably a total of about 6 to 8 months.
Right.
And then we took our time releasing it. But the one thing, the pandemic definitely helped out with in that process is, we didn't want, like, we knew we wanted to do an album, but we didn't want to write a couple of really good songs and then just a bunch of filler and just to get an album out. We spent a lot of time with each and every song.
Right.
And like when it come to discussing even like, oh, what's going to be our first single? What's our second single? What are we going to do videos for? Like, it was really difficult. It was exceptionally difficult to figure out which ones, worked best and whatnot. And in turn, we ended up doing, I want to say 3 single releases, over the span of about 5 or 6 months prior to the album coming out. And then we even pushed out videos. We did at least 2 music videos after it was released, after the album released. So I want to say we've got, I think, a total of 5 music videos out of 10 songs that are on the album, which isn't too bad.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty good.
So,
you mentioned you get, like, every band that I've interviewed pretty much always mentions goes back to the COVID thing, and
Mhm.
I guess it was a double negative, like a one of those things where it sucked, but
Mhm.
then again, a lot of the bands kind of got a lot of stuff done, and they because they had, like you said, nothing else to do because everybody was on lockdown. It definitely was a shitty time. So, but I mean, at least you guys were able to be productive, and you guys produce and master all your own music, right?
We had
Yeah, go ahead.
no. You go ahead, Richard.
Well, we wrote the stuff and then we outsourced that to Derek from the D Punk from DK Zero because he's actually an engineer for Cleopatra Records, and so
Okay.
he gets a lot of work from them. So we said I did a lot of preliminary mixing. Both me and Thomas took shots at that, but we left the mastering up to the master.
Right.
Uh, because they just that whole world. I mean, it's one thing. I had a big learning curve myself because I've never. This is my first band, so I've never really had years and years of experience playing live music or recording. So songwriting is one thing, but when it comes time to like churn this stuff out and actually make it something that you can listen to and compete with online,
Right.
you need a lot of you need a lot of ears that know what they're doing with that. And so we outsourced that to Derek, and he really got it to sound. He got us to sound really good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you guys are getting ready to do your second album, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
I know Thomas, you mentioned that a little bit ago. You guys are working with Logan Mater.
Logan Mater.
Logan
Yeah.
Mater.
Logan. Yeah.
How excited you guys to go get into the studio and get that second album out?
Oh my god! Like, so, if someone would have told me 10 years ago that I would have been being produced and going in the studio with the originally guitar player for Machine Head, the guy that churned out Five Finger Death Punch, Fear Factory, Divine Heresy, I would have thought you were full of shit.
Right.
So I am stupid excited. Like he has been at the helm of some of my top musical influences and top albums. So I'm really excited. The the discussions we've been having with him have been pretty promising.
I mean,
Um,
that's what I like about him the most. He sends the nicest emails, you know.
Yes, he's such a nice. I mean, we haven't
Yeah,
talked to him yet.
yeah.
It's all been through written communication. I actually I just got information. I'm gonna be calling and talking to him to actually get stuff scheduled here soon next week. But yeah, like he's just super nice
The
and
best communicator.
genuine so
Email.
far.
Yeah. It's
So
like
are you guys? Is he in Canada? Or is he in the United States?
He's in Las Vegas.
he gets
Oh, okay, sweet. You get to go
Yeah.
not too
close.
far from home. I mean, six,
Yeah.
7 hours. Get to go work in Vegas.
Strip clubbing. I mean,
Gentlemen's club. I mean, what?
gentlemen's. I love how they call it a gentleman's
Right.
club.
Because
They want
I
you
hear
to be a gentleman.
I hear
Yeah.
they call it the library, and the ladies there are called librarians.
Works for me.
I'm looking to go do some studying.
right, right.
Yeah.
So you being that you guys are considered industrial rock, I know Thomas, you were telling me some stuff earlier off before the interview started. But what is the translation again? You were talking about the translation of that word. I can't pronounce
Oh,
that word.
what? Oh, the Neue Deutsche Harte.
That one, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah. So and honestly, this is something we discovered in like we were trying to come up with like what genre are we, and like me personally, I was raised up hardcore into the metal genres, like that my golden era was the new wave of American heavy metal coming out of New England, the Kill Switch Engage and
Yeah.
Shadows Fall and stuff like that. But I also was really big into what I've thought I just considered industrial music was just basically anything that had his electronics and sound effects and samples mixed with heavy music and whatnot. When we got into this, we hooked up with we became really good friends with this German DJ. Like he has his own radio show and has a couple of bands and stuff. He has His name is Tobias, but his band is called Magal Modash. But he explained to us, we're talking about Rammstein being industrial because Rammstein's not industrial. It
Right.
is the genre called Neue Deutsche Harte, which translates into New German Hardness. And that's or those that are in the know refer to it as just NDH. So we trying to I don't want to say like we're completely unique, but we do have an interesting sound that we're trying to label. And one of the things that we come up with is like, all right, well, we're Neue Amerikanisch Harte. We're the new
Right.
American hardness, and
Right. Right.
um,
Kind of as a joke, but it
kind of as a
works.
joke. It
Yeah.
sticks. People dig it. That, and we
Well,
also refer to brutal wave.
brutal wave. I mean, the thing is, it's like everything old is new again. It
Yep.
always, everything's always moving around in circles. So it's, it's not about like chasing uh, any kind of approval in a certain genre. Like I like synth music. I like a lot of dance music.
Mhm.
Thomas likes more of the traditional metal, but we all like hard rock. So
Right.
it kind of all comes full circle. Everybody else in the band feels the same way. So, and most American bands tend to be more metal, and European bands tend to have more dance. And so, who knows? Like to me, it's just more about like we went to a Rammstein show, and obviously that went over really well. Everybody had a great time, and everybody loves Rammstein, right?
Yeah.
So whatever they've been doing, it works, and we're
Right.
kind of I think in a similar boat where it's a mix mash of that type of stuff. Like, and I grew up on Nine Inch Nails. That was a big band when I was growing up, and so we're like, I think we're kind of similar to like that Nine Inch Nails feel, but heavier, like a little bit more like rock
Yeah.
versus Nine Inch Nails was rock, but they had a lot more high end on their guitars. They weren't as bass heavy and crunchy, I guess maybe is the
Right.
word. So
Weren't Nine Inch Nails considered industrial too
yeah, they
back
are.
in
They
the
were
day
always
in the
yeah,
'90s? I mean,
yeah,
I was in high school
yeah.
in the '90s, and I didn't start listening to like that kind of music until I got into high school.
Yeah, Ministry was probably more the archetype of what all people do. And it's really funny because several other people, we've done a couple of these interviews, and several other people in the band have talked about how that New World Order song from Ministry got them on, kind of introduced people to like a new way of seeing metal. And that was me too. So it's
Oh
funny how
yeah,
that one
Psalm
song actually got everybody thinking differently about metal.
yeah,
Right.
the Psalm 69 album. Oh
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. That whole album was just a departure from the usual, but like again, everything old is new again. So it's
Yeah.
we're kind of like a twist on that. It's similar, but it's more. It's weird kind of like my new wave stuff mixes with the metal stuff in a way that it's industrial. Like it's not like we invented something completely new. But
Right. Right. You mentioned all the like industrial bands, like besides Rammstein, Prodigy, and all that.
yeah,
I would
yeah.
listen to Prodigy before my hockey games to get me pumped up. I want to punch somebody in the face.
Yeah, smack someone's bitch up, right?
Yep. Yep. A fire starter.
Oh yeah, no, but like that's the thing though. Like that stuff really like that's the thing about like dance, it can be just silly and whatever, but there's elements to that's tribal and it's powerful too if you find the right mix. And Prodigy found a really good mix of for what they did. Yeah, I mean it was at the time it was brand new. I remember when Firestarter came out, like what the fuck is this? Like,
Right. Right.
it was pretty wild, right? You didn't expect that, so yeah.
So have you guys always been? I mean, I'm sure like the other guys or other people or the other band members aren't in the interview, but for you two specifically, have you guys always been into music, like playing music instruments and stuff like that? Or did you just kind of fall into it, or I know Richard, you said you hadn't just your first
Yeah.
band.
Yeah, I played music when I was a kid. I dicked around on the guitar, but I never really went anywhere with it. And then I started getting into karaoke. I became a karaoke DJ actually, but I never really had a band life. I never was on tour. I was never playing shows. But Thomas was playing shows from early on,
yeah,
right?
I've been I started playing music in the fourth grade, playing viola in the
Viola.
elementary school orchestra.
Nice.
Then I moved to bass, played bass in church because both my parents were preachers. And then yeah, when I became an adult was when I first band I ever joined was a Christian punk band when I was a senior in high school called Chapter 9. It was so bad. It was so bad. Yeah, I've been in, a dozen or more bands. I took I want to say like a 5 to 10 year hiatus just because of life and
Right.
family and stuff like that. And then I want to say about 6, 7 years ago, I decided, I wanted to start playing music again. And I tried to start up this band. This was back when I was still living in the Midwest, but I was trying to start a virtual band with people that I'd been in bands with throughout the states and whatnot. And after a while, I realized I was the only one writing the music and I was the only one doing anything. So that turned into this solo industrial metal instrumental persona that I refer to as Seraphim. And actually, like how Richard and I met, we totally had like a stepbrothers moment. He was, I was wearing a Rammstein t-shirt, and he was our Uber driver. He picked us up and he saw my shirt. And he goes, "You like Rammstein?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "I like Rammstein." I was like, "Cool."
Did we just become best friends? And
yes, and literally it was like, "Hey, I like industrial music. I do too. I've got a solo industrial band. So do I. Did we just become best friends?"
Started doing karate.
Yes.
Right. Building bunk beds and
yes,
have
the
more space to do
nunchucks.
it.
The nunchucks come out. It was ridiculous. But yeah, and that's in essence like he had actually started Fleischkrieg on his own as a solo thing. And
Had a SoundCloud.
Yeah, he had a SoundCloud. We were like, I was just gonna contract him to do music videos for me, and then he was like, "Well, actually, I need someone to do guitar work for me," and I'm like, "All right," and he sent me a couple of songs, and before we did a single music video for me, he was like, "Hey, man, I found this really cool spot. Are you free this afternoon?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Grab your guitar, get an outfit, and I'm going to come pick you up." And he picked me up and drove to this obscure spot that he had found in the middle of in West Seattle. And we shot the music video for a demo that I literally just laid guitar tracks down for earlier that week. And it's just me standing there playing one note over and over again, but headbanging. And it just all kind of started. Yeah, that's how it all started.
That location was amazing, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
It's early in 23, but besides getting in the studio and getting that second album out, what other plans do you have as far as like for the rest of the year?
Yeah, the big thing right now is we're trying to get on to a couple of tours. Like we did our own tour. Like it was just kind of like a test. Things were starting to open up, and I was like, "Guys, let's book a tour." And let's figure it out. Lots of lessons learned, and definitely lost a lot of money. But we had 4 or 5 guys locked in an RV for 3 weeks. Across the country.
4 guys and like a little girl.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, we had a driver, and at that time it was just the 2 of us, our keyboardist and our drummer.
Yeah.
And yeah, we traveled, like I said, lost a lot of money, but we made a lot of connections and, got to get a taste of that. And right now, what we're trying to do is, trying to get on to a couple of tours. We're not per the advice that, the thing to kind of really get out there isn't, you don't start off doing your own tours right off the bat.
Right.
You go with some established acts, and they that's kind of close to that. So that's kind of where we're at right now. We're shopping for tours, and also like trying to raise money to be able to afford to go and do those tours.
I guess that old saying, "You got to spend money to make money," is really true, right?
Exactly.
You don't really make any money anymore off ticket sales, especially if you're an opening act. So you got to make it all the merch sales.
Yeah, that's a lot of lot of like local bands that I know. They have to sell tickets at these shows at these small venues that they're on. They're not headlining. They have to sell tickets, and that's where they get their money, the merch. But
Yep.
So where can fans find your music or find out what's going on with you guys?
Our music right now is on all major streaming platforms. Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, YouTube. So we're all in all of that. We're on Bandcamp. If you go to www.fleischkrieg.com, you'll find links to all the places. You can go from there. And then also, speaking of money, one of the things that we are doing right now is we do have a crowdfunding campaign that we're pushing pretty hard, where we're offering fans and super fans perks in order to help contribute and help finance us to be able to get out there.
Right.
Including things like it's not just like, hey, give us money and thank you. It's more of, hey, do you want us to remix a song? Do you want to be a roadie at one of our shows and kind of hang out with us, go to lunch, have a virtual meet and greet, or VIP experiences, get music lessons from either me or our drummer, things like that, where kind of selling these perks to contributors to help raise money to get out there. Another thing that we're doing, although it probably wasn't as relevant, but I'm planning a bake sale. Like,
sweet.
I'm totally I'm currently talking with some businesses to get permission for us to hang out, play some music, and sell cookies and
sell
pies
some Pantera brownies. Awesome.
I don't think I have the licenses for that.
Right. Again, my guests tonight in the green room have been Thomas and Richard. I'm gonna try this again. Fleischkrieg. I'm sure I messed that up, but
Fleischkrieg.
Check them out on all your usual streaming platforms. All those ones, and then find them on probably the social medias and their website, and check them out, man. Donate to their cause, get them out on the road so they can burn some faces off with their music.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for joining us, guys. And Zoom's going to kick us off here in about 2 minutes. So, but let's do it again, man. Keep in touch, and definitely anytime you want to jump on and do an interview, let me know, and we'll get you on.
Hell yeah, man.
Awesome.
Thanks,
guys. Have a good night.
You too, buddy.
Recording stopped.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
I'll get that edited and